Amaxter. We're back with Inside the Mod episode 5, and we have Benimatic, who is the creator of Twilight Forest, joining us, and we are going to venture into Twilight Forest and talk about his plans and how Twilight Forest 110 is going. And that should be good.
Hello.
And yeah, I just had to kill that thing. We're in we're in the Infinity Pack, the Feed the Beast 1-on-1-7, because the 110 version obviously isn't complete yet. So
He was coming right at you.
we was.
Now, 110 is going along pretty well, but there are still some blocks and textures that aren't finished. So if we did it on 110, you'd be seeing the missing block texture on things like, you know, plants, or it would, and a lot of the AI still needs to be updated. So although some bosses we could spawn, they wouldn't really behave normally.
Yeah, there should be more, less purple and black at least. So, anyhow, we have this diamond here, and most of you probably know how to get into the Twilight Forest, but in case you don't, you just make this little pool of water, and you surround it with natural stuff like flowers, and then you get a diamond. So let me get a diamond from this item frame. Where did it go? Oh, here it is.
It's over there.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw this diamond in here, and lightning's gonna strike. Oh, watch out. Probably want to be standing a little far away from it if you do it yourself, and you get a portal. So I guess when we can jump in.
All right, bonsai.
That was anticlimactic. Hold on, for some reason my game. Let me do it again. So we're in the Twilight Forest, and if you don't know, this dimension is basically always in Twilight. It looks very unique, and there's dungeons and stuff to explore in it. So where should we begin?
That's a good question.
Also, did you get your armor in the chest?
I did, and then when I teleported, I suffocated at a wall. It looks
Oh,
like,
you died. Oh, right. Oh, right.
Yeah, sometimes on a server, it is not. You don't get everything going through at the right time, and so I had like dropped down a little bit before the world loaded, and when the world loaded, it did not pop me back up to the surface.
Hold on, we're just gonna pretend that we had that. Let me just get the armor. Oh, we got a winter wolf. There we go.
Yeah, so we're next to our little portal came in next to a snow biome, and you can see it's like really snowy there. That weather effect just sort of means that that area is essentially it's off limits until we progress further in the mod through fighting some of the previous bosses. You can go in there, but you'll just I think you'll just take damage and get slowed.
That's interesting. Yeah, so you have to kind of get equipment so that you can go in the cold area.
Yeah.
There we go.
This is the feature I actually added to because it was confusing to people. If you spend too long in there, sometimes that little guy will appear with this little book that gives you a small story about what you need to do before you can go in there.
That's actually a pretty interesting way of delivering information. You could just have a pop-up, or you could just have a mob spawn like that. That's kind of neat. So, we probably should go in this direction first.
Yeah, there's probably going to be, you know, some regular Twilight Forest stuff not too far in the forest here. Most of the features are spread, you know, 200 to 300 blocks apart. Just so that, you know, you're not spending endless time wandering.
And so is the 110 port going to be mainly like just a port, or do you plan to add significant new content initially?
Currently, it is just a port. We're working on, you know, getting it back up to the level of the 1.7 version. I do have plans for new content. We'll see how quickly that gets added or not. Yeah, you can see various Twilight things. There's deer. Apparently, this is a tree deer. You know, there's cute little plants. There's birds. There's fireflies. You know, the whole area is sort of a little wooded wonderland here.
Yep.
Over here, you can see a hollow hill. At least this looks like a hollow hill from the outside. And inside there, this is a pretty small one. But inside there, there's going to be some monster spawners, treasure chests, and little monsters. There's usually goblins that live in the How Hills.
Huh. And there's also mazes and other kinds of content.
There are,
too,
yeah.
right?
There's like out here in the proper, the forest proper, you'll find mazes and lich towers. Occasionally, you'll find the like temple or structure that contains the Naga. And these hills come in various sizes, and the larger they are, the more dangerous. The more dangerous they are. This, I think, is the smallest size.
Yeah. And so we can dig into it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's see if we can do this. So what I like about Twilight Forest is it's like it's a very kind of like the Aether. It's kind of mod that operates on its own thing. So if you try to go into it with other mods, you're kind of ruining the experience because it fits in with vanilla very well, both balance wise and just the theme with how like atmospheric it is. What's your stance on it in big mod packs like this?
Yeah, it can be fun in big mod packs like this because, there's it offers like a different kind of challenge. Like a lot of big mod packs, like Infinity here, are focused on tech and building things, and Twilight Forest is more about exploration and fighting things and navigating your way through the structures and the forests and stuff. So it's sort of a different challenge, but you're right that like a lot of overpowered weapons and stuff can sort of make the fighting not all that challenging. I think we need to go down more.
Yeah, probably. Hold on.
But also, these smaller hills are sometimes pretty claustrophobic on the inside. Mainly because when they're like larger and more open, they're considerably more dangerous, I guess, than I wanted them to be. In that monsters spawn everywhere from every direction.
Because it's really hard to light those, yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Here's the inside.
There we go.
I'm just gonna jump down there. Ah, spiders.
Okay.
So yeah, you can see there are generated chests in here. There's stalactites, including ore stalactites. Monsters. There's a spawner over here that is spawning little itty bitty spiders that actually don't really hurt you that much. You can see them just like coexisting.
So, what was the original inspiration for this? Was it just like a more kind of dungeon-y overworld?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually like pretty. You mentioned the Aether, and that was like one of the original inspirations for it. But since then I've gone in sort of more directions. Like this is kind of what I like to do in Minecraft. I like to find treasures in places and fight monsters and explore. And so I made the mod that offered basically those things to a degree that I thought like wasn't really out there yet.
Yeah, I think it definitely does that, and it does it in a really clean way too. Like you don't have a ton of bloat. Like you don't have 15 sets of armor. You just have like some really iconic items like the Fireflies or the uncrafting table that people are really familiar with that kind of help give it that mystic vibe, I think. Because you'll see with like some mods will just like add in 10 tiers of something for no reason.
Yeah, right. I mean that could be fun too. I like mods where you like progress through tiers and stuff, but yeah, this is like right. It's aimed at sort of a different style of gameplay.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm never gonna get out of here. Doesn't help that I only have a wood pick.
But you don't wait. Hold on, what happened to your iron one?
It was lost in a wall.
Okay. Hold on. Here you go.
This looks like a circle.
Okay. We're in the middle of a rainstorm. So one of the things that I think you notice with like the Aether is it's developed with like a team, whereas Twilight Forest largely I think is you, but with 110 you're bringing some more people on to help, right?
Yeah. I won't hesitate to admit that I got sort of overwhelmed with the amount of work it was to port, and like, essentially you spend a lot of time like redoing the same stuff you've already done over and over again. Like 110 makes you create separate like block files. They're in what's called the JSON format, which is essentially like a text format. So you're like writing several paragraphs of text for each block, and it just got to be overwhelming. So it's really nice that the guys on the team have stepped in there to get the mod coding.
Yeah, and who's it on the team again? It's is it Atomic Blom? I think is one of them.
Yeah, Atomic Blom, Willy Wireless, and Drolkus are like sort of the core team members, but there've been other people contributing little patches for small things, and I myself have been sort of poking along with a couple of things as well. So I'm headed in this direction. It looks like there is a Naga courtyard over here if you want to try.
Fighting that, yeah. So how many bosses are there again?
That's a good question. I mean, there's like sort of bosses and mini bosses, and there's I think 5 or 6 main bosses right now, and like a number of other like boss-like encounters, such as like there are like ghost knights in the stronghold, or there's like a terrible creature of made of a mushroom and a centaur.
Yeah. Okay, I see the health bar, so it's nearby.
He's over there. He's not.
Oh, I see him. I see him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's mowing his way through a flock of sheep.
Oh, do you have to hit him in the head?
You can hit him anyway, and the head may do slightly more damage.
Oh, moves fast.
Yeah. That's like one of the main challenges. Often it helps to bring a bow so that you can do something while he's circling around.
Yeah, you don't see big mobs like this a lot in Minecraft aside from the bosses, and most mods don't do that. How hard was it, initially, doing these bosses like this, where they're so they're animated and they're big and they look pretty complex?
It's complex. I mean, bosses. Working by myself, bosses would take me from like about a week to a month of part-time coding to complete. A lot of them have very complex AI routines, and a lot of them have a lot of special code to handle how big they are. Like the Naga obviously has a lot of pretty complex geometry code to put him together in a snake-like form correctly.
Oh, darn it.
Oh, no.
Crap. Okay, well, let me TV myself to you.
I'm going to try to teleport to you.
Oh, okay, where's my stuff? Did you get it?
I think this was mine.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Journey Map. So, one of the things people don't realize,
I didn't realize that I only had
I'll wait for a calmer moment. Maybe we should have geared up better, but I think we got it pretty low right now. Let me just equip this armor.
The Naga is pretty much designed to be fought using iron ore and tools. So, we're doing pretty average in that regard.
Oh man, no excuse. Okay, 1 sec. And also, I love the design how in this boss fight you kind of have the columns around so that can help you separate the Naga from you when you're kind of trying to heal really quickly.
Right.
Is this like a procedural, or is each one the same for the Naga for like the formation of this arena?
Oh yeah, no, the columns. It's a fairly simple procedural. Yeah, the columns are randomly placed. Directly on each other. Oh no, we're still fighting.
One more. Hold on. Let me just fly over it. It's gonna take a while. Where's my death point? Here it is. So one of the things people don't
manage to run back. Sometimes when I go through, I like just sort of take a bed along. You can usually sleep anytime in the Twilight Forest. So
yeah, that's the nice thing
about
a
little camp right outside.
Always be the same time. One of the things people don't realize about this mod is it's been around for quite a while. So
that's true.
As you know, as time has gone on, Minecraft has changed a lot. Have you adapted parts of the mod for that, like over time?
Yeah, I mean, I've generally tried to add, like, sort of, for example, you'll probably see polar bears and things in the new version.
That'd be neat.
You know, and I've had to adapt the boss strategies and AI for, like, basically the changing way that your health and armor has worked throughout Minecraft.
And also, like, the offhand stuff, probably.
It's true. There are some shields in the mod that I have to code up to the proper shield.
Yeah, and the way you can't really just like spam hit stuff now because the combat system's so different. Oh, there we go. Okay, epic shader grab bag. That's from immersive engineering. Never mind. Naga trophy. So what do these trophies do?
Trophies both like serve a purpose of just sort of, you know, being a decorative item to show that you beat the boss. You know, and I see they've added those in vanilla as well. But also, if you like toss me the trophy, it will also like grant me the achievement that will like unlock the next area for me. So partially, so it serves sort of a dual purpose. It's both like a reward, an aesthetic reward, and like sort of a key that will let you progress further in the mod if we have the progression system turned on, which I think it is by default.
Yeah, and how do you design that progression? Like, do you base it on vanilla tiers? Like, okay, this boss is meant for like diamond armor.
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, it's they do certainly get tougher as you go up to a certain level. You know, it's hard to make things too hard in Minecraft because you're always dying and losing all your things. So you can't make things with like monsters that do 300 health a hit or something, and you have to have the super armor to survive that, because then if you died, you would never get your corpse back. You could not
or
like
spawn
walk into that area and face those monsters. So yeah, I mean, it does get harder, but you know, to a certain degree.
Yeah, and like, so is the Naga, is that like the entry level boss of this dimension?
Yeah, it's basically the first boss that you're expected to fight here.
Yeah, and I like it because you kind of need a diamond to get in here anyway. So it's like you should probably be at an iron tier entering this.
Yeah. And if you have some diamond armor and stuff, or even enchanted diamond armor, then the fight's going to be easier. And you'll like quickly move to the next thing.
Yeah. Wait, so is it possible for the Naga to escape this area?
His AI, he can like sort of break the walls if you lure him near there, but his AI mostly restricts him to the courtyard in there.
That's nice. One of the things.
Yeah, you know, you can just retreat from the area to sort of gather health, and you know, if you're getting beat up too bad.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's a little easier in that way. It's certainly no Dark Souls or anything, but I thought that was a nice compromise.
Yeah, I think it works in the context of Minecraft. One of the things with Twilight Forest is it's very designed, you can tell, for single player, And multiplayer, it's fun too with like friends. Like in the situation where it's just like 2 people or a couple people, but on like a big server, the mod like has a reputation for having issues because there's so much stuff going on. It's not really designed for that experience. Have you ever thought about designing it more for like broad multiplayer servers?
Yeah, I mean, I've put some thought into that, and there's some features that I'll have to test to see if that would work a little better. Basically, to without promising too much, I'm looking at like boss respawning. Sort of like how you can currently respawn the vanilla bosses, the Wither, and now the Ender Dragon.
Well, they just added that. Yeah.
Or similar to how you do that in Terraria, so that when multiple people are trying to play through the mod on a big server and they're not all in one group, so that you can just like go to previously explored area and sort of refresh it and make it possible to explore again.
Yeah. And one of the other things is like you have this it's weird because the dimension, in some ways it feels like the overworld because we just saw a zombie over there and there's some familiar blocks. It's not like everything's different, but we have the new Skybox, we have all this atmosphere, the weird trees, the Fireflies. How did you decide on the aesthetic you wanted the mod to have?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's I just sort of I look at what vanilla has and what excites me about vanilla, and then I make the mod have that like a lot more in a lot of ways. The exploration aspects, the right. I do try to make it so that it's familiar, that it's still Minecraft, that you can like see some familiar creatures here and some familiar blocks, but also that you can tell you're in a different place. And these trees and things are certainly part of that. They're like a constant reminder that
You're
cool.
everywhere. Have you ever thought about like adding a lore kind of like a lore books to kind of expand the story of it?
I have. It's something that I have considered. I haven't there's nothing really promise coming up with that. But yeah, well, one of the design constraints, I guess, that I went with when I was developing the mod was that I didn't want like a lot of text-based information. You can see there's almost nothing that like adds, chat lines like the zombie says hello or whatever. It's a bad example.
Yeah, and that's good.
But
I don't like when a mod adds like a ton of bars for stamina and everything, it kind of clutters up your screen. It's just not vanilla, or it's not that it doesn't fit in as well, I think.
But yeah, now that and honestly, I was developing the mod as I went along, and so like it sort of changed and developed as I kept adding things. But now I think I have a better idea of like the entirety of the mod. And so, yeah, it might be appropriate to add like lore books you can find or other stories that you can discover.
And these big trees, is there something that we can like do inside of them?
Yeah, I mean the big trees are usually hollow in the inside with vines. You can climb up them, and a lot of them do have sort of hidden treasures in with the leaf blocks up. I don't know if I can guarantee that we'll find any of them or anything good, but we can certainly look. Again, it's procedurally generated, so it's random, and they're not super common, but I can usually pick them out since I know what I'm looking for.
This really reminds me of Hack/Mine in its own way. Except, I mean, it's less like of a total overhaul, but it's that same kind of exploration and combat loop.
Yeah. I had sometimes thought about like an even more overhaul, like for example the Aether or like the Erebus, where you don't find where like even the dirt and the rock is different.
Mm-hmm. You have to make your own tools to break them. Yeah.
Right. So there may be. Yeah, let's see here. We find like a little nodule of wood. Spawners, treasures. It's like, you know, basically like a vanilla dungeon made of wood put in a tree. Never gonna go to that spider spawn too fast. These are sort of like a swarming type monster where they spawn in greater numbers than normal
like
monsters
grunts,
do and
kinda.
quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not especially harmful.
Oh, you might need to break that. I think I give you my pickaxe. Actually,
They should stop spawning in
there we go. Oh, right, you can just put a light source on them. Yeah, the fireflies are really cool because they kind of I think it's a great way. Like once you get back in the overworld, you can just put one in your base, and it's a great way of reminding yourself of about that dimension. Right. Did you like design them to be so iconic, or did it just kind of happen?
They were some of the first ideas that I had for the mod, and so I added them pretty much everywhere. No, I mean, they were just sort of a development.
Yeah. But I think now they're basically like there's much of an icon for the mod is like the Lich King is.
That's true. It's true. Or when I play at a server, someone usually throws one of those sort of annoying cicadas. I can see one over there. Someone like tries to hide one in my base.
That's funny.
Just to, like, remind me, look what you've done.
Yeah. So have there ever been like compatibility issues with other mods you've had to deal with? Because it's, you know, a different dimension and then a lot of things are changed from the overworld. Do you get like mods that break stuff?
Because it is a different dimension, you know, you do sometimes have that. We're not having that issue. The issue isn't happening here, but sometimes I see, like, because the overworld doesn't like spawn monsters on the surface largely, it sometimes becomes overrun with mod added monsters. Like sometimes I'll come here and there's like 50 blue slimes slurping around. Yeah, so I mean, it's always sort of a struggle. I mean, with any large pack, you'll always have mods that sort of rub up against each other in a way that's not always what you want.
Yeah.
To be.
I guess we can just get down with the vines, or we can get creative.
Almost fall into my death there.
Here we go.
Oh, there's water. I'm just gonna jump. Let's see. Did I make it? I made it.
There we go. I think there used to be a requirement that water had to be 2 blocks high to break your fall, but I think it's just 1 block now.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. We were lucky.
Not the most realistic thing, but it is nice. Situations like that. Anyhow, so what are the other changes you're making in 110 besides content? Are there any other tweaks you're making, or is it largely going to be a port?
Well, I mean, we're still working on the port now, so we haven't like fully meshed out the changes that we want to do. You know, I do have a design document of various, you know, changes, like the strongholds, the dark forest, are like very, at this point, they're sort of like overly large and confusing in a lot of ways. So I want to do something to make that a little better. I don't know if it's making them smaller or making it easier to explore them all, or making them just like more interesting or rewarding might work too. You know, yeah, and there's a lot of at the very end of the mod, there's a castle which is fairly unfinished at this point that I want to get more done on. You know, but yeah, I have a whole list of various fairly minor tweaks. I think the general structure of the mod is going to stay the same.
Wait, so could we find like the last boss and just take him on right now, or does the progression like literally force you to approach it a certain way?
Well, you could turn the progression off, but yeah, it does. Like at some point, you'll run into issues where you can't get into a structure because You can't break any of the blocks, or you can't interact with anything. Yeah, so
Hmm.
the progression does. It starts off as sort of a soft progression where the area, like the snow area, is sort of annoying and sometimes harmful to enter. But you will eventually reach sort of a hard barrier where you can't get into something.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's a good idea just to let people know what they're doing so they don't go up against a boss they're not ready for or something.
Yeah, and I've in a lot of ways that's like sort of a design I chose because I wanted to eventually add like epic treasures and loot, and if there's like an epic treasure somewhere, I didn't want people just like rushing straight to that and grabbing that and then being done with it.
Hmm. And so I'm gonna ask the question, the forbidden question. Do you have an estimated like time span for when you think the mod will near completion for 110?
Well, I mean, as far as being like released and like having all the features that are currently here in 1.7, we're going pretty quickly. I can imagine that would be sometime this summer that would happen.
Hmm.
Further developments, I don't have a time frame for. It really just depends on what we choose to do and how quickly we choose to do it, really.
Hmm. Yeah, and one last thing is with mod packs. I think I remember. I'm not sure how it is now, but it used to be that like only FTB packs could use Twilight Forest. What is your view on like mod packs and permissions and everything?
Yeah, no, it's got fairly open permissions now. If there's anything you could do to make it more open, I'm certainly amenable to making that change.
That's nice because initially I remember like it. A lot of mod authors did this too. Just it because permissions weren't as figured out then. So
Yeah, it's true. Right, the mod's been around a long time, and so like
hmm.
some of the permissions and things are a little archaic at this point.
I love how we have. It is interesting how you is there like a way to disable the other mod generation, or do you just kind of intentionally leave let other mods
I
decorate it?
mean, there are certain things that don't generate like a lot of yeah, it depends on what hooks they use in
Hmm.
Forge to generate their content. Basically,
Hmm.
like you don't see, for example, oil wells that I think would normally be in FTB. But I guess you do see these rubber trees.
In a way
Yeah,
that
it's always sort of challenging because other people do everything they can to get their, well, for example, rubber tree spawning.
yeah, well, in a way it's kind of nice because I guess you could theoretically have people living in a Twilight Forest as just like their home.
Mhm.
Because then one of the nice things is while it is a dangerous dimension, it's not like outright hostile, like the Erebus, where you have to be really careful. You kind of
Right.
can approach things at your own pace.
Yeah, that's sort of the design philosophy I wanted to keep
Hmm.
through it. That you can, sort of choose the level of risk and danger you want it to be in. That you
Yeah.
could decide that for yourself and sort of make the gamble.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on today. And I think we've experienced a good amount of the mod. I mean, we haven't like done an entire mod by any means, but I think given people who probably haven't played it before, hopefully a good impression of it. Um, so thank you for coming on. Do you have any more closing thoughts?
Uh, no, I mean, just stay tuned and look forward to seeing you in 1.10 or 1.11 or whatever we eventually stabilize on.
Yeah, sounds good. And everyone watching, see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks, Amaxter.
You're welcome.